the first thing that my response yesterday, there's not a group of people that I would like to go through the Tisha B'Av experience more than the guys here. And I thank the guys for being incredible guys. I want to put words to it. Chaim said Tisha B'Av's the Waterbury Chag, and he described it at the end of Tisha B'Av. I'd like to express the Nakuda, and I want to say the klipa of the thing. A klipa, there's always anything could have a danger. It's very dangerous, our shita. Be real. There's a danger always trying to be real. That could be the least real. Let go a little. Be you, let flow. Be a little not real, be real. Just let the thing go. Let the thing go. What's beautiful about the guys, and one of the klipas, one klipa of being real is holding back a lot and asking, is that real? Knock it off and shuckle your head off in your daven. Is every shuckle real? Just find yourself in there. Amidst all your shuckles, just be aware and watch. One of the dangers of being like you guys, and you've changed my life, you're changing my life, a guy who's honest, a kid of today, could be it could feel very judgy. If somebody walks up, a Rabbi says, and pats you, nice kid, you're allowed to be present to the relationship. That was awkward. That didn't feel good when he said nice kid. Now, you're not there to judge the Rebbe, I promise. And it will seem, Waterbury guys are always judging. And it's nothing to do with Waterbury. Stop saying we're a kid of today. They're feeling. I come from a different world. None of us felt. I promise. I had rebellion that were codependent on me. I didn't even know what codependent. And I felt awkward and I ignored it. I was very good at that. You're allowed to analyze what just happened. You're not trying to judge the Rebbe. You're just being alive. It's a generation that feels, hey, what was that experience? You're actually be closer to the Rebbe. You're not judging. He might not know emotions. I didn't, and guys taught me. Guys called me out like crazy. They said, you're not feeling what I'm saying, and they were right. They were right. They would tell me serious things. I'd give a big hug. I said, you didn't feel me. He was right. I didn't know how to feel. I'm just learning. The guy was right. He called me out. Now, the guys are not meant because they're trying to judge their parents, they're actually trying to relate to people. And you're this weird thing, you're allowed to relate. And by the way, when you understand, you end up relating. And you end up, when we say, Talmida Yosi Mikulam, till I met you guys, it was a bunch of hogwash. I don't have Talmidim. I have rebellion. I'm talking about one day I'm probably going to have Talmidim because of you. And I want to say that I could relate to Talmida Yosi Mikulam because of you. Because of you, my rebellion. I want to explain it. One day, I'm watching this summer Yehuda Deitch run around with his son. When a kid's little, the father is relating to a kid. He does not know his son yet. His son's personality, it's not formed yet. So the father is stelling zu to a little kids are funny and have funny ones, and you figure out how to relate to that. Your dad, he pulls your talus off, and he doesn't know what you know, and he's figuring out the world, and you're relating to a kid. As your kid gets older, relating to a soul, it's not a joke. Parents always get excited. They're a kid, and what the parents see is true. It's not they're just the parents, so they think. No, the parents, Hashem gives the eyes that are true. A soul is limitless. A soul. It's a piece of Hashem. It's a chelik elokayim. The neshama is huge. Our children are really big. It's not a joke. It's not cute. It's not meant for a certain yeshiva. We're big. No, just the truth. We have a soul. We're very, very big. A human being is wildly big. If you relate to your kid, and they'll all be different, it's crazy. And a soul is if you relate. Now, if you don't want to feel and experience, we're all very good at that, and you will not change much. You'll work on the behavior of your children. Chinuch is so hard. If you actually relate to a person, and you try to relate to a person, it's crazy. To call yourself a Rebbe means you're relating to a soul. You're out of your mind. To relate to 6 souls, if you have 6 kids and 8 and 2, is nuts. It's a life-changing experience. Now, it's different how you relate as a Rebbe and how you relate as a father. A Rebbe could have more Talmidim than a father could have children. Because the way you would relate as a father, you couldn't possibly relate to that many people. You couldn't do it. You wouldn't survive. You wouldn't be a normal human being. Relating as a father is a crazy experience if you're relating. Now, plenty of people are good at not relating and not like figuring out and how do you relate to this? And each soul is unique. And are you open-minded to feeling the experience? The kids of today are feeling. It looks very judgy, like stop judging your Rebbe. It's not about judging, it's relating. You have to relate to something, to someone. You're allowed to, if there's an experience going on, it feels a little awkward. His compliments feel off to me. I don't feel comfortable. You're allowed to relate to that. You're allowed to be present. Isn't that crazy? You're allowed to be present. And by the way, you're alive when you're present to life situations. You're present. And you're related to it. It will come out of people, like Chaim's talked about people crushing it. There's the earlier generation's bigger than ours. As you read the Sadairs, we're at only because of that. We're not like looking at our parents. People in earlier generations did not feel, it wasn't their job. Don't ever judge. I've seen Gedolim who I shake from, who are not very emotionally aware. They're tzaddikim. I want their brachas, their tefillas. It was not their avodah. They're different generations with different jobs. And you meet people who are not emotionally the most attuned. In a strange way, Hashem gave every generation its tafkid, its mission, its sense. Our generation is feeling. I don't know what to do about it. Could you mockingly say, we're bigger? You know what, you dare say you're bigger than my grandmother. You're out of your mind. She was 16. She went to public school. Her parents were killed. Her siblings were killed. And she was a loyalist to Hashem. I'm only anything. I am nothing. She's the hero of my life, my Oma. I'm nothing. If you look at my Oma, she did not understand your emotions, I promise. That wasn't her job. She lived. She was close to Hashem. Hashem was her best friend. Different people have different jobs. I just don't know how to say it better. And our generation is feeling a lot and working through feelings. That's what's happening. And you're allowed to be present to situations and ask and relate based. The Tisha B'Av is coming alive. There's an energy here, and I think there's not a group I'd rather be with. The energy comes from you. I say, I'm tapping into you. The energy comes from people that are willing to feel, that are willing to experience, that can experience something. So the first thing I want to do, what went on last night was a gilui on the day itself. The guys last night were like ready to go. It was nuts. When I feel a little, I'm tired. My day, I have driven home. I promise you, I have driven home. It has not happened a lot. But a couple of times in Durham, I really listened well to a guy. I was spent. I went home. My wife said, why are you home early? I said, I'm done. Because I listened to a guy and I heard that guy can keep going. I don't have the emotional stamina the guys of today have. I don't have that. And I listened to a guy well, and I was spent. I'm not an excuse guy. I promise I like work. I promise that I like working. A good, hard day. I work a hard day, and I like working. I could work. I can't feel, but I could work. So I like working and putting in a day. I felt with the guy, I was like spent. I drove home. I just showed up home to be with guys who are feeling for a mayid like Tisha B'Av. You can't do it without looking inside. We sang Rav Levi Yitzchak Barditchev's Niggin, and I'll tell you why I sang it. That song, for whatever reason, brings me places. I feel like I could step up to things. I feel like it pulls me before Menorah, before we sing Ka'echsai. It pulls me places. Tisha B'Av, I had this grapple where I'm not trying to pull out of me, I'm trying to pull in me. And I had this like grapple, I had this like shaila that should we sing that song? I'm not trying to get out of me, I'm trying to get in me. It was a very interesting day of Tisha B'Av. We're like stelling to void, to gap out of us and in us. B'mistarim tizka nafshi. Our soul is very attuned to Tisha B'Av. That's what the pasuk we were handling. Mipnei geva. That b'mistarim inside of me, I'm crying. There's a place in me that feels Tisha B'Av. I'm not trying to go out of me. I'm actually trying to go in me, and it's not so easy to go in me. Trust me. You guys have an easier time with Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av has been born. Mashiach's coming. You guys gave birth to Tisha B'Av. There's a generation that's feeling deep places very, very clearly. And last night to experience that guys were like they're locked in. That was wild. So I want to thank the guys. I want to say a point number 2. I don't like defeatist mentality. I despise defeatists. It's not the way I play sports. If a guy goes to a game, we lost, they're so good. I'm not into that. You play, you get your team, rally the troops, and bring it. I'm very competitive. I don't like defeatists. I hate it. That's just how Hashem made me. That's me. I'm a fighter. I'm a competitor. I don't like when people start something. You see how good they are? Why are you doing that? This is your team, and play. Dig deep and fight like a tiger. Life's to battle. You'll win, you'll lose, who cares? I don't mind losing. The funny part is I'm competitive. During the game, after the game's over, I feel like I unleashed the netzach that's in me. We lost, hug it out, great, that we competed. That's not the battles I mind losing. But the defeatist mentality bothers me. Don't start losing. It's just, I say, win before you begin. The opposite is starting to lose. It is dumb to say about Tisha B'Av that we have no shaykhs. That is stupid. That's treif. You killed the Navi. By the way, I promise you, we spoke about killing the Navi. People love the kinna start and end with killing the Navi. So we all sit there. It's the best thing to sit and mourn about that, because the Yidden are so bad. They killed the Navi. Does anybody here feel like the murderer? If you would have been there, you would have killed the Navi. So it's easy to mourn like those sickos. We're talking about our journey. Would anybody here want to kill the Navi? We're very peaceful guys, and yet we speak about them killing a Navi. So that's somebody else, the Gullus. Those people killed the Navi. It's the best one to really hammer. You could say the story in a gruesome way. The Yin wall back there. They were my Zayda and your Zayda, my friends. So what's going on? You, and it's me and you, by the way. But then you killed the Navi. By the way, when you say we have no shaykhs to Tisha B'Av, you're a murderer of the Navi, I promise you. Exact, that's what it is. Because there's a spiritual force outside of us, and you're saying, I'm not shaykh. That's exactly Nevuah. When you say we're not shaykh to Elul, we're not shaykh, I'm not saying that we experience it in the full ways we should. I'm not saying Shabbos, who's the arrogant guy? We have Shabbos. We're trying to tap into something real. To say there's a kayach called Shabbos, it's murder to tap in. What does it mean to tap in? How does it look? But there's something called Shabbos that we're capable of tapping in. To start the game, we're not shaykh. If one guy, I was so happy, nobody said, it's a svas emes. The word's actually a good word, not the way people use it. Nobody here says, we cry because we don't know what to cry. Pardon my English, my father said, shut up. Stop, sit down. We cry because we don't know what to cry. And smugly, it's what are you doing? What are you doing? You're a murderer. You're murdering the Navi. I say kinnis for you. Now, the Svas Emes says it. It's a much deeper thing. Svas Emes didn't have a defeatist mentality. There's something called Tisha B'Av. And my relationship to it is what I do feel, what I don't feel, how much I feel. He very much felt that it wasn't meant you could say the same words. You could say it as a defeatist. We have no chance. So let's all just wing it. No, you actually could you could actually plug in. Tisha B'Av's a force that you could plug into. There's a mayed called Tisha B'Av. These things are spiritual powers. There's something called Tisha B'Av. It's a mayed. It's a time that has a force to it. Don't you dare. You don't say, well, Shabbos, we're not really shaykh. So let's cancel the day. What are you doing? What are you doing? Does it mean we tap in? How much? You want to give us a scorecard? Who taps in more? You have a rating? How much? You think we tapped in? We got Tisha B'Av? We're trying to tap in. There's a spiritual force. So this point that learn in life, stop with the defeatist attitude, knock it off. It's not a good thing, it's bad midas. Defeatist attitude is bad midas. Don't do it in sports, don't you dare. They're better, Yehuda makes team, they're better. He's making teams, this is your team, play and bring it. Play and bring it. I can't stand that better, we can't, we won't, stop. That's not how healthy people live life. This is your team. You will live that on the court. You will live it with your wife. You'll live it with Tisha B'Av, and you'll live it in other ways. It's not how we live. Stop with the defeatist attitude. You're a soul. You're huge. Now relate to the situation. Get in there. Get in there and fight. Get in there and fight. Get in there. There's something called Tisha B'Av to approach it. We have no shaykhs. Tisha B'Av was awesome here. There was a spiritual force. It's difficult. It's good. It's a spiritual force. What is it? Don't to come with any defeatist. Don't you dare. You're not allowed to say the Sfas Emes is officially forbidden here. Now I promise I like the word. There's a force to what he's saying, but the word is like borrowed for some guy you quit on a whole generation, and it's said it's what you're using it for. If somebody goes to a volleyball tournament, says they have a very good team, there's going to be tough, there could be two energies to that. There could be we have no shot. I don't like that. We're playing, we have a shot. There's no. What are you talking about? The guy's professional. He's you and I. He's a little taller. He's this. We have a shot, and many times you win. And let's compete. We relate to the thing. Get in there and get dirty, and let's go. Bring it. So I don't like defeatist mentality. I'm not built for that. Hashem put me in this position. I won't allow it from people around me. I'm not going there. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. Not on Yom Tovim, not on any spiritual forces. It's not very intelligent. It's bad. I say it, it's bad midas. Good midas is there's a gift called Shabbos that God gave me. I probably do have shaykhs to it. I probably do. Many people do the same thing with Tisha B'Av. Their kids, whoa, I don't have shaykhs. He's your son, he's your daughter, she's your daughter. Get in there. It's hard. This is, how do I relate? What is it going to bring out of me? Get in there. No defeatist mentality. It's hard. I never mind somebody says it's hard. Whoa, that big guy's on the other side of the gridiron. Whoa, that's cool. I spent many times at basketball. People watched other teams practice. Did you see that guy shoot? I'm not into that. We're going to bring it. We're going to play hard, really hard. We're going to bring it. We're going to relate. We're going to get dirty here, and a lot of good comes out of that from relating like that. So I don't like defeatist mentality. That was my message number 2. Message number 3. I think defeatist mentality is exactly killing the Navi. If you wanted a word out of it, it's just true. To say that we can't relate to Tisha B'Av, to me, you killed the Navi. You're a murderer. Your mamish killed. You're exactly the same as killing the Navi. The Navi says, what does it mean they killed the Navi? The Navi said to the Jewish people that you're shaykh to big stuff. The Navi says what we want anybody to know. Probably the best, there were 2 things that struck me. The best part, there's no best part. The thing that struck me the most, the whole Tisha B'Av is what Rav Aryeh said about hope. 10th graders, Rabbi Aryeh spoke about hope and the value of hope, and he cried because he saw somebody not have hope. That's like the killing of the Navi. I'm not shaykh to anything. Do you think, Yudi, that we were like, it's so sad, all the generations we wanted Mashiach, like he didn't come. Such losers, like the poor Rebbe. The Rebbe wanted Mashiach more than anybody. He's like, let's talk real. I don't like pretend. He's a loser. He the most wanted it, he didn't get his once. It's a pasuk in Mishlei, Techeles mimushacha. If you have hopes and they don't come, machlas halev, it's sickness. There was no sicker man than the Rebbe. Sickness. He had hopes of Mashiach and it didn't come. Didn't come. He wasn't it, and it didn't come. Must be such a tragedy. The man, nobody yearned in our lives. So if you don't understand life, if you say that, you really don't understand. Rav Aryeh spoke that the deepest tragedy, pains are hard, the deepest tragedy a person's hope. If I would describe 10th grade in yeshiva, and 10th grade's relevant to everybody in the world, what I want a kid is to get hope. Parents say, he looks worse, your kid has hope. He actually, a guy like him, he starts sensing, comes from a connection. It could take a month, a year, or 10. I don't care how long it takes. It's actually the first step of being alive is you have hope. Kivui, hope. Hope does not speak about tomorrow. Rav Joey explained. It lives today. Hope is very interesting. If you think we spoke, Reb Shalom Rabashkin spoke here, it spoke about being in jail, hopeless. People are hopeless. You know what it means to have hope? You know how powerful? The Rebbe was alive because he yearned for Mashiach. It means we're shaykh to big things. He experienced Geula, a lot of it. I got a letter from Yosef Groman after last night. It's a text letter. He's a brilliant guy, an honest guy. It's one of the nicest texts I've ever got in my life. He described his experience of Tisha B'Av here, somewhere hovering between Geula and Gullus. That he experienced something that he very much felt Geula, but it very much got him in touch with what he doesn't experience, that he wants more of it, Geula and Gullus, wrapped in one. And he articulated it brilliantly. His experience of Tisha B'Av, the experience of feeling something, of being part of something, that didn't feel sad. I love Tisha B'Av. Should I feel guilty? Maybe we should cry about that. If you like the word, cry that you felt so good on Tisha B'Av. On that, no. We experience something and we actually want more of it and want it for more people, to feel connection, to feel present. And in feeling present, you also feel what we don't feel present about, trust me. The guy who's numb doesn't feel much of anything. And when you have a leiv pasuach, you feel a lot, including the voids. So, don't kill the Navi. We're shaykh to big stuff. We're shaykh to Shabbos. We're shaykh to big things. We're out of this world. We're shaykh. We have a soul. If you ever feel stuck and sometimes am I shaykh to anything big? The answer is yes. The killing the Navi is the Navi saying you're shaykh to deep things. To kill the Navi is no. Navi, I don't know who you are. I don't know your experiences. I'm not shaykh. You're describing a world of God. I'm very stuck here. That's what it means to kill the Navi. Killing the Navi exists today. Killing the Navi exists in Shmuzin of we're not shaykh to Tisha B'Av and we cry that we can't cry. You just killed the Navi. Stop. The word of the Sfas Emes is a great word. It's actually deep and full of feeling. There's actually a lot of emotion there, but not the defeatist. You could use the same verb. That's always Tzadikim Yelchu Bar Misham Yekashlu Bar. And every truth can be used to destroy, can be used to build. That verb is just used to blow up Tisha B'Av, to kill the Navi. Knock it off. I'm thankful nobody said it here. I don't want to scare anybody, say anything. It's just not the type of people we're surrounded by. I'm not defeatist people who, okay, let's cry that we can't cry. If you're saying that just everything's hopeless and helpless and we all lost and I don't know, something, so we have no Tisha B'Av, that word is saying that there's places of void. We can connect to the places where we feel, where we don't feel. There's an oimek to the word, and yes, experiencing Tisha B'Av in a very deep and meaningful. The start of the sugya has to be there's Tisha B'Av and there's me, and I can relate to this. That's any game. What I'm telling you, there's a team this side, they're tough, they're tall, and I'm in the game. I can relate to this. Will I win? Will I lose? I have no idea. I'm in a battle, and I'm going to get a lot from battling. By the way, after I battle, it's a blast. We just battle. Trust me, Chaim and I battle. We play, you let it out. We battle. We're going to relate to this. They're tough, they're crazy, they're good. And by the way, in the battles of life, you walk out the better for it. To just ever say on something, I can't. And when I say I can, I mean because we have a soul, because we have a piece of God in us. That's what I mean. Because you're denying the neshama, you're killing the Navi. So that's message number 2. Message number 3 is we do a lot together on Tisha B'Av. And then the guy once is going to have Tisha B'Av alone. I want to explain, we could do nothing Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av is a force not because of the program we run. I only do so much because I feel like we're battling. Many people killed the Navi. Tisha B'Av has been shot up. I can't think of a day on the calendar that's more disrespected. Immature, Holocaust movies, utter stupidity. You think we're safe, feel less safe. You don't have to scare people, show a horror from people the basic, I would say, the extent of Tisha B'Av is show Stephen King. Basically we ask clients, read Stephen King, enough horror stuff, show a horror movie, and that's our Tisha B'Av. Stop feeling so safe. You know how much anti-Semitism, you're now close, you think Hitler was, and then some video of some guy who's like Hitler, the lack of sophistication to a chag, I can't handle it. It's just not stop. We're shaykh to something big, to something real, to something true, to something deep. So because we're battling a force, we're almost working too hard. In the quiet of your house, you can have Tisha B'Av. It's real. You don't need any good singers. Now it's true, we're fighting something, so we're working hard to just establish that there's something there. We did not create Tisha B'Av in Sulam. God gave us Tisha B'Av, and the human soul is capable of tapping in. It actually works so well and is so moving, not because of any song we sang, though it's good to sing good songs. It is because there's something called Tisha B'Av and the Yid, and he's shaykh to something bigger than himself. So I want to share that with the guys, that you could tap into something. What you experienced here, always know where the source is. So is it maybe all the singings? Then in my own house, I can't sing like that. I'm not going to be sitting next to Matis, next to Aryeh Barnett, next to Momo Ringo, so maybe like the perfect collection of singers. No. What you experienced was Tisha B'Av and the Yid. We have a good program to allow for that. But understand, and I feel to tell the guys that there's something called Tisha. Shabbos, I like less programming. We have things, we sit. The reason I want to sing a lot on Tisha B'Av is I feel like song allows each person to do their own thing. We all had very different Tisha B'Avs. Whatever was in your brain, it gives room. Especially songs without words. So I like the parts that let people we may start with words, we get into a certain zone, then go. And you saw different people going different places, go. So it's a way, by us singing collectively, we could be together and be independent by singing. Song allows for that. But I want to say that Tisha B'Av's a force, you're a force, and you're matim for each other. We're matemes. There's Shabbos and the Yid. I love Ka'ech Seif. Me and Avi love Ka'ech Seif, and we say Hamasemes. Beautiful words. We're matim. We're a good shidduch. Hamasemes l'skula secha. It's matim. Skula secha's us, Hashem's treasure. Shabbos and us are a shidduch. We're meant for each other. We're matim for Shabbos. We jive. We connect. We have shaykhs. We're matim for Tisha B'Av. There's something in the day that we're shaykh to. Longing, hope. Rav Aryeh's word about hope very much resonated by me, because I feel like that Tisha B'Av starts. Now, it starts, the guys know it's not being taped. The guys know that NF, his music, I feel like there's honest feeling, expression of feeling there. There are two songs. A bacher once asked me, I saw a Yid who
might be being taped.
Is it?
Maybe.
I saw a Yid. I never care if it is taped or not. I don't care if moments, I don't care really. If moments are videoed, you can sense if a moment is just living the video. I don't care what site it does or doesn't go on or might go on. That could be good, could be bad. I let other people decide. I'm not, just be present to what's happening. Be present, and that's it. Is it video, is it not? The whole world's video. There's videos all over. They video everything. Soif Davar, Kol Nishma. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. Everything's videoed. It's not the point. The point is be present. Be present. Be present. Some is video, the value, the not value. It's a good, these are shaylas, a good philosophical shaylas. Where was I? Why does it always go back to NF, Johnny? Okay.
We could always delete the recording.
NF has two songs. There was a prestigious fellow I know who has very little shaykhs to emotions. Just the way he's, because you're a big tzaddik, it's very little shaykhs to emotions. The way I'm not a paisik on him, just what it looks like to me in my interactions. And he hates therapy, and he says therapists get kids angry at their parents. I hear. He's saying the word. He's saying, and he hates. He's publicly denounced. The best therapist I like, he publicly racked. I think that therapist is a tzaddik who knows emotions, and I think this tzaddik, his sugya is not, he knows a lot of mesechtas. The mesechtas of emotion, I haven't found him to be the sharpest in that mesechta. And the bottom line is he ripped a certain therapist. Kids walk in, not upset at them, and they walk out of his office upset at the parents. This therapist I have seen has brought many kids to their parents. Because often if a kid went through something very serious, and even not so serious, being numb to things doesn't connect you to things. If you're uncomfortable and Rabbi says, nice boy, and you're like, you're not very close to the Rebbe, he's not very close to you. There's a dynamic in the relationship. There's a dynamic. Now, when you lean into the dynamic, at first you might say, I don't feel good when he gives me compliments. You could ask yourself why. Compliments could feel good. You could ask and figure out and analyze and get in there. What's happening? You could get in there. You really could feel and relate. It's a weird thing about life. We could be present to life. It's the craziest thing. And our whole essence can be part of something and feel. It's not to judge the next person. You're not trying to figure him out. He's a tzaddik. He has him. You're allowed to live your life and experience and be very present. The big ones were very present in their life. Now, this person who's very, very angry, his father, whatever went on, he might first feel angry. But if you're a parent, your kid's anger, the step after anger is you'll be close. When a bacher comes to me and we have a tough conversation, that's usually the start of our relationship. Because he expresses something. I felt ignored. I felt disrespected. And you hear, you don't answer back. You hear, explain what you're saying. If you're defensive and this and that, then you have to work on your own things. Why are you so defensive? Why your own inner security, that's also a sugya. But he's expressing his inside. Trust him a little. Trust yourself, trust him. He's saying something. By the way, when the kid gets in touch with feelings, the next step is love. Kids love their parents like parents love their kids. There's things, and he has to feel and experience. One day your kid's going to say, I hate you, and versions. I'm very upset at you. Hear what they're saying. Be confident. You're a parent. You love them. They have to love you back. It's just how the world works, that the heart's reflective, and you love them, they're going to love you back. They're like stuck, shucks. But he's saying something, and he expresses a blockage, and you hear what's being said. Sometimes a kid has to feel, and the other side of feeling is very good feelings. Numb, a bacher asked me, Kalish, if you're right, NF wrote a song, his mother overdosed, and he wrote a very powerful song, Why'd You Leave Me? We expressed his tremendous anger. Now, I'm not saying he should have broadcast it. I don't know NF, I don't know the person, I don't know why he broadcast that song. It could be L'Shem Shemayim, it could be felt others would gain, it could be L'Shem money, he became rich from it, it could be, I have no idea. It's a funny place to express emotion to millions of people. Maybe he's a Baal Chesed and he felt others can gain, I have no idea, I don't know him. But a bacher asked me that if you're right, Kalish, why wasn't he Michael, his mother? He expressed the emotion. I said I have the kasha, maybe privately he was. Lamaisa, 5 years later, NF released another song where he's Michael, his mother. To listen to the songs back to back is life-changing. I advise it. I advise you to listen quietly with nobody around and don't comment on it, just listen. But listen and feel. I think a generation that wants to feel, I give you advice. And yes, I'm saying it, but listen to those two songs back to back. I advise it. Listen to the song, Why'd You Leave Me? When he's upset, it's very painful. You have to have the headspace for it. You have to be ready to feel. If you want to not feel, fine. I'm talking about if you really go somewhere private, but you have to be ready. You have to have the headspace. And listen to somebody who's upset that his mother overdosed and he has a lot of anger at her. Hear what he's saying. And then back to back, listen to his mama, his newest song 5 years later, to mama. I advise it, you'll get to learn how emotions work. I am not coming to praise the person, to speak. I don't know him, I don't know much about him. I'm not saying to listen to his other music, not at all. I'm saying that if somebody wants to get into the sugya of feelings, there's a guy, Chacham Bagayim Tamin, there's emotion Bagayim, and there's some feelings there that you could learn a little bit about feelings. So you can hear his "Why'd you leave me?" back to back with Mama. There's not one curse on it. It's a complicated topic of a person's anger. It's something that could, again, I'm not like out there. Trust me, if you're learning, I promise it's not. If you have some time and you want to feel and learn about feel, I'm not asking anybody to be sad. I'm not advising for Tisha B'Av, do that. No. If you want to learn about emotions and tapping in and digging into yourself and what happens, the process of emotions, it could be something that's a gain. Don't listen to his other music. I'm not coming to be a big pusher. I do not know most of his music. I don't care about most of his music. But with those two songs, there is something there in how emotions work, how they work. But I want to, that third point, that there's something called Tisha B'Av, and you and your shaykh to it, nothing to do with our program. We have, the program almost, you could say, might even crush Tisha B'Av. Whoa, like, give me my space. I hope some guy says, I need a little of my own space. That's good too. And if you need assistance, that's good too. You're capable of connecting to Tisha B'Av. When you're alone somewhere, you're capable. We're working hard, and we almost over make a program because we're fighting an attitude. So we make, and there's nothing wrong with plugging in. There's nothing wrong with getting a good chazan for Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. There's nothing wrong with being around other people trying to relate to something and believing that you could relate to something. But I feel the need to say that you are shaykh to connect to Mayadim. You're shaykh. There's a forest called Shabbos, alone in your house. You have a terrible voice, and you have your own form of Zmiris. You could sing. My Zayda sang. He had these chants. My Zayda came from Chassidish Yidden. He had chants for 6 at a Shabbos table. He sang these like funny chants, and he sang them just on his own, like nobody was. He sang and nobody joined him. I remember as a kid listening to my Zayda. You have your own form of singing also. It's not. It could be with singing a song. Your songs might be with discussion. It might. You and Shabbos are shaykh. Don't kill the Navi. We're shaykh to big stuff, deeper than our world. We just are. It's true. I don't know how to tell it to you. It's very scary. Don't kill me. Just don't. It's scary. Somebody tells you, it's like, you serious? Yes, yeah. Now, experience, get in there. I think anybody who was here yesterday would say, maybe we are shaykh. We're shaykh to like big things. We could plug into like big stuff, and like it could hit somewhere because we have a soul and big things deeper than the world. You tell a guy there's this thing called Shabbos. I'm not talking about a nice day that Jews have family time. That's like the secularization of Shabbos. Even we get closer to our family because of Shabbos. That's not what Shabbos. That's not like any person alone in a house. There's something called Shabbos. There's the Yid and Shabbos. It's misogol that people get along, and people, because there's a day of like, there's an awakening, and the place of soul, we're very united with other people. So it brings togetherness and song, and everything does better on Shabbos, but because of the ingredient called Shabbos. And the Yid and Shabbos are matemas. That Ka'ech song, that we crave Shabbos and we're matim for Shabbos. It's like a good shidduch. That's the opposite. We're doing Trias Anesim on the Navi. We're bringing him back, Hebron. So we're restoring the Navi, thankfully. I thank the guys. You're beautiful people. You gave me a mayed on the calendar. From Tisha B'Av gives birth to Mashiach. Tisha B'Av, it's born on Tisha B'Av. Please don't be a literalist. That is, it's not talking about a birthday. It's nothing to do with anything. And anybody else, well, I don't get it. Because when you're in touch with longing and hope, Aryeh nailed it. When there's hope and longing, there's life. The Rebbe was a lucky man that he had a big kivui and was in touch with cravings. It's a very cool place to be. The 10th grader, Yudi comes to yeshiva. You know what he gets? The external people ask me, do you have to fall before you grow? You don't have to fall. You have to have hope before you live. To fall before you grow. Do you think your son is hopeless? I don't care what color shirt he wears. I don't care how good a haircut. You know what it means to be hopeless? You know what it means to sit in shiurim? Guys described to me what it means sitting in a class and nothing's going to change. What's the big deal? He's in school. Duke it out. He's sitting in a class. Geschmacke Rajba. Oh, Zcheyus, let's go. Every once in a while, he like chuckles on his. Then when hopelessness sets in, me and a world past me that I'll never get there. Hopeless is bad. Hopeless is bad. And hope is so cool. Parents will say, I know he's happier. And it's hard, what they're seeing is hope. Hope is beautiful. Hope is beautiful. All our lives keep that hope. Keep that hope. The hope that we're shaykh to big things, because we are. When you have that hope, you'll find it, you'll touch it. You'll also have void, like Rabbi Joey described, but you'll connect. I don't say every year you'll nail Tisha B'Av, just the it's like so exciting. The excitement, guy said, I love Tisha B'Av. I felt something, there's hope. I miss something, even to miss something is hope. There's like something's pulling, something's tugging, something means something. You heard the story, they showed that Yoel Gold video, beautiful video, the story of that community, they like feel like tuggings, there's something. He stands up in front of his church, and he says to his 3,000 constituents he has, and he says there's a bunch of garbage. There's a truth. He said, I meant good, I never meant to hurt you guys. He looks at his congregation after visiting Israel, studying Torah, going through a trauma, and he says, it's interesting that trauma caused such good results. It's interesting that trauma. That said a lot about gullus too. Sometimes trauma forces digging deep inside of self. Sometimes trauma forces that. We say, why is Hashem doing this to me? From Lama Lanetzach Tishkachenu is beautiful, gives birth to hope. From a place of hopeless, I feel forever forsaken. Even when you just say those words, means that you have hope. That's the mashal of being angry. That's NF's. I promise once he made the song, I'm so mad at you, you knew that he was going to forgive his mother. If you never make that, so when you say the words Hashem, it feels like you left me forever, and you feel it, you're a minute away from being close to Hashem. I didn't even know that. I didn't know, honestly, I didn't know. Isn't that funny? I'm not like, what a nace. He actually is a guy who feels, it seems, and so I'm not amazed by it. It's called hope. I didn't know that. I honestly didn't know that it's called hope. But it's not surprising. When people start living, that's the word. Rav Aryeh nailed it. It's from us. Everything's from the Torah. Kivui, hope. There's a sense, longing, hope. That the sadness of somebody not feeling and no hope is so sad. When you have a youngster in yeshiva coming in, that's how I would define you, hopeless. Very hopeless. And the first thing that happens, a month, a year, 2 years, somebody's noticed, he meets an older guy like him, and he starts sensing there's something I could like. Think about a typical kid, Shabbos, Yom Tov, the Navi's dead. Nothing I could like, nothing ever is going to matter. Nothing. A guy had a good Tisha B'Av, you know what you got? You got hope. You got hope. That? Martha, you hear what I'm saying? Have you seen kids get hope? Even then a kid struggles and falls dark, but there's hope. Would you agree to that, Martha? Even then he wants to tap in so badly, but I can't. There's still hope. But I know there's something I could tap into. The Navi's coming alive, Martha. I was very happy. It was funny at the end of Tisha B'Av. You're thank you for sharing that. Meant a lot. It's very it's a sugya in us. I say in the 10th grader, I'm not talking about a person. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about it's a sugya in us. When we feel hope, it's very good. Okay, I said enough of my batala about Tisha B'Av. Let's get to Divrei Torah. Now the tape can roll. It's been rolling. Now the world knows I like NF. They haven't found out. I thought it was our secret, Yudi. Will that get me in Chair, advice? And they get a ban.
After Chatzos.
Next year when you can't live. You don't want to get. He said you don't. We're linked. It's like a. You're listening to his hates.
I never lost hope if I was going to end up speaking.
You were saying that they're retired. You can't have a day of only that.
As Rabbi was speaking, it's a very fascinating tekufa that we're in now. It's still Yud B'Av. We have a Velas until Chatzos. At the same time, there's this feeling of hope. Even just looking around the room, you have Moshe Reich looking fresh. All dressed for Shabbos with a
big smile on his face.
Thank you, Rebezi. That was a Camp Monk. This goes back 30 years in Camp Monk. I trained just punching Kigo. I see Moshe Reich all dressed for Shabbos with a. Oh, I remember I've trained also.
Saying I see the big smile on the face.
Yeah. Those are Josh.
Rebezi's
With a big smile on his face. And then you have next to him, yes, Moshe Kalish, who's still holding on. Going to the gullus. As if I looked that good in a goatee, I would also rock it a little longer. Like, there's a mix of like gullus and geula that's going on at the same time. The Ishbitzer would love moments like this. Like, it's so unclear. Like, did we end the gullus and now we're in both. It's just last night was like that, the epitome of that, where we couldn't listen to music, but the room was so alive because we had such a good day. I woke up this morning. I was trying to figure out who I'm going to get a haircut by, and I'll be honest. When I was younger, my wife would make fun of me. We would go out to eat. I would just look at the right side of the menu. Whatever the most expensive thing on the menu was, I would just, that's what I want. My wife would say, like, how do you know even, like, it's the most expensive, that must be it. Today, like, I'm going to ask Ben Simon who gave him his haircut and tell the guy, just make me look like Ben Simon.
Aryeh is cheering the loudest.
Yeah, look, I was noticing that. If you can guarantee I'll look like Ben at the end, then... So I want to share today a Ramban on Tefillah and some ideas about Ponzi schemes. They don't usually go together, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yeah. So there's a famous Ramban.
I could see Nachum putting out this title like NF Ponzi schemes. Welcome to Waterbury, like something.
And I'm asking, like, sometimes you give a mashal, and the mashal is so like, what did the Rav talk about NF? Like, stuff, the Rav was making a point about hope and anger and pain. All they remember is that he talked about NF. Like, all he talked about was Ponzi schemes, but in this case, I think it's actually Kedai. The mashal itself is worthwhile, but I'll start with the Ramban. There's a famous sheet of the Rambam. I think we learned this sugya 2 years ago here. As a mitzvah to daven every day. Mitzvah say to daven every day. The Ramban and the Sefer Mitzvahs is chaylik on him and says that no, there's no mitzvah to daven every day. Perhaps there's a mitzvah to daven when you have an eis tzara. When you're in a difficult time, there's a mitzvah to daven. And when I first saw this, the Ramban, it bothered me that, what does it mean it's a mitzvah be'eis tzara? Be'eis tzara, you need to daven because you need something from Hashem. What do you need a commandment for? Like, usually a commandment is, according to the Rambam, I'm going to daven. You see, daven every day, whether you need something or not. I want you to reach out to Hashem, touch base, talk to Him. I hear that's a mitzvah. But to say be'ez tzara daven to Hashem, I need Hashem. Of course, I'm going to daven. What exactly is the mitzvah? And so I want to talk a little about Ponzi schemes, and yet there's two parts I want to talk about. One is how to avoid them, how to avoid putting money into a Ponzi scheme. How there are good people out there who have started legitimate businesses and ended up. I'm going to use the word Ponzi scheme as just when the deal goes bad. Ponzi scheme is a specific scenario. It's the first person who did it, who coined it, it's named after him. Where a person starts an investment, and he uses future money to pay back people and give them returns, and he just creates this scheme where he creates a reputation that he's giving good returns, and he keeps having money in. So one is to avoid investing in it. And the second is to avoid ever being in a situation where, like I said, I've known of good people who ended up in these situations where their investments went bad and people were upset at them. If you're sick, you'll use this also to figure out how to run a Ponzi scheme. But if that's where your mind goes, we'll talk after. So the way these things usually starts off with is, again, I'm not talking about the rishistic guy, the guy who's pasha ganef. Often these things start off with well-meaning, it was a good deal, and something went wrong. I want to pinpoint what went wrong, where is the point where things went wrong. And people will often point to different things, and I want to at least my thought of where things went wrong. So you start off, the guy has an investment, he's selling it to people. Sometimes he's overly optimistic. It's not a chait, but he's overly optimistic. He overpromises. Could be he takes on too much. He has a few deals he's doing now. He takes on another 3, 4. He doesn't have the operations to run it, but he still thinks that he's doing okay. The deal starts going, and issues come up. It's taking longer to do the construction. So his turnover time is not. It's costing more to do. He thought it's going to cost $10,000 a unit, and that's what his projections are based on. It's costing $20,000 a unit. It was supposed to take 2 months. 2 months means you're only losing 2 months of rent. It's taking 6 months. So now he lost 6 months of rent. All of a sudden, all the value he was adding by increasing the rents are wiped out. He might have made some mistakes. And he realizes that this deal is not going the way it's supposed to go. And he starts to panic. That this deal is going bad. And from there he just does more deals. He figures that if I get the next deal to do double as good, those guys will make money, and the next guys will also make money. Often in these situations, you'll see that the guy running the deal, he's not pocketing any of the money. We're not talking about a ganef who took in more money than the deal needed. That's mamash geneva. We're not talking about a guy who's doubled his management fee. You'll see a guy that he was trying to save the situation, and in his head he figured if I can get the next deal, and he really believes the next deal, he can make up for the last deal and this deal, and then he's going to get everybody where they need to be. And he ends up in this spiral that because he's desperate for a deal that's going to do double, he takes a risk he would never take otherwise. Now he's taking riskier deals. That deal not does it do well, it does worse than the first one, and now he needs to do even more riskier, and it's over. And people try to look at this guy. Again, he was a decent guy. He wasn't trying to. He was just trying to pull it all together. Where did he go wrong? Greedy? I don't know if he was greedy. The point wasn't that he had to put money in his pocket. He was trying. The story very often is how he was trying to save face, and give people the returns that he promised and not disappoint people. I believe the point where he went wrong could be in the beginning. It was never a good deal. It was too much. He shouldn't have taken on. He shouldn't have taken on the riskier deal. The point where he really made a mistake is that point where he realized things were wrong, and he should have picked up the phone and told his investors, I think this deal has gone wrong. It's not over. Brilliant. And at that point, he had a decision. He could have told people, I didn't steal your money. I might have made some mistakes.
Brilliant.
That exact point is his point of Bechira, and if he misses that, that's over. Now it's spiraled. Now he can't tell them anymore because he missed that window to tell them what went wrong. I could tell you personally, I had a situation probably going back 15 years ago where I had partners. We were buying buildings in North Jersey, and it wasn't a scheme. It wasn't a. We were all doing other things at the same time, and we're trying to pull this together. And at some point, I realized that things weren't running as smoothly as possible, and money was being moved from one deal to the other. Nobody was stealing, but it just wasn't being done. It wasn't being done correctly, and I realized this wasn't going to end up where it needed to end up. And I had this exact dilemma: just give it more time, and hopefully it'll all come together. And I made the choice to call my investors. It was a lot of money. I was not yet 30 years old. I was 28 years old. I had ran around for 2 years. It was close to $10 million of other people's money. I wasn't sleeping. I couldn't function. And of course, it would have been easier just to try to give it a shot. And I made the decision to call them. And there was disappointment. People were upset at me. They thought I was more involved than I actually was, that I presented things a certain way. And it was difficult. It's interesting, out of that came the way the story turned out. It's a very interesting, maybe one day I'll tell you more of the story. It was how the deal turned out. Everyone got their money back. I had somebody in Tzfas who told me 6 months before who was going to end up buying it, and I realized only after. It was a crazy story. There's a point though where I'll say Yisrael Zev Rechnitz, Shlomo Yehuda's brother, was one of the investors, and while we're trying to sort things out, one of my partners realized that Yisrael Zev is a very sharp guy and he's very on top of things, and that he was digging into things, and he privately called him and said, I'll buy your chelik out. Like, just give me space to deal with it. And I was on the call when he did this. Yisrael Zev thought for a second, says, no, either you buy all of us out, or I'm staying in with everybody else. And he had no achrayus to the group. It was just until this day, the guys, some of the guys here have been to the basketball tournament in LA that's done in the Ili Nishmas, his wife, and I was always makar toif to him. Until COVID, there was a basketball tournament for the Tomchei Shabbos, the Bikur Chaylim in Los Angeles. I was always makar toif for what he did for me there. He had no reason to. And we used to send a team from Waterbury every year to...
You go, Weiss? Manuel.
I think Manuel was the last year.
You went, Manny? You were the last year we went?
Yeah. It was a crazy tekufa Why did he do it? He was just a good person. He said, I'm not leaving. I'm not. Then he'll help. Together they'll work it out. He's not separating himself from the cloud. It was a real tzidkis, and it says a lot about a person. But I want to point out that nekuda of a person's running a deal and things go wrong, things happen, and to realize that it's there's an opportunity to face it and deal with it. It's uncomfortable. But that's where our gvura has to come in. That's the on the side of just partial. The olam here is going to be involved in businesses. Maybe it'll take people's money. It's just like to make up. If anything goes wrong, I commit that if something goes wrong, I will approach them, even if I'm disappointing them.
Relevant to all of life. You never do a business worth $10 million.
Yeah,
amazing.
That's when I look back at this. Like I said, sometimes a mashal has so much value that you forget already what the nimshal is. But I want to go back to the nimshal of the Ramban telling us that be'es tzara is a mitzvah to daven to Hashem.
I think that's life changing. That idea, life changing. That idea. There's so many places it comes out now that we would make a mistake if we would only
you have an opportunity. The issue is not the mistake you made. That's not the avla. The avla is that when you had the opportunity to face it, and you pass that opportunity, then it's over. Then it just plays itself out. You're stuck. Now you're desperate. You're making bad decisions. But I'll go back to this Ramban, who says that there's a mitzvah that when you're going through a difficult time, to face Hashem. And I know when personally, sometimes there's a situation where you did nothing wrong, and it's okay. I need to daven to Hashem. But for me, for sure, personally, I know that there's times when I'm working on something, it goes bad, and of course I should daven to Hashem, but I feel rejection because it went bad, or I'm disappointed in myself. Why did Rabbi Shalom have to do this? Why couldn't it just go smoothly? And the last thing I want to do is talk to Hashem about it. Okay, I won't be angry at Hashem, but I don't want to talk about it. I want to go, I'm hurt by it. Why did Hashem have to make it go this way? It turns out when the Ramban says that there's a mitzvah be'es tzara to turn to Hashem, it's a mitzvah because I don't want to do this. If it's easy, the guy, it could come up. So a guy dated a girl for a lot of dates, and it didn't work out. And now you want to daven for the next. No, I'm hurt. Why did I have to go through that? I don't want to daven for that the next girl should go well. I don't. Right now, I'm just hurt. I'm disappointed the way it went. And there's a mitzvah at that point where I don't want to face it. And if you look at the lashon of the Ramban, I think it's very meduyik. If I you have to follow the words. Mitzvah le'es hatzaris. It's a mitzvah eis tzaris le to do what? You would say it's a mitzvah le'es tzara to daven. That's not what he says. It's a mitzvah be'es tzara shenamid shuhu yisbarach shemei tefillah. To believe that when I'm in a difficult time, Hashem is wants to listen to me. To daven, okay, daven, because no, that's not the issue. The issue is I don't believe right now that the Rebbeinu Shalom even wants to hear from me. Obviously, he's angry at me. That's why he made this happen to me. So I don't want to turn to Hashem now. I don't want to face the issue. And the mitzvah is no, don't walk away. Commit to turning to Hashem, even though it's so hard right now. And I'd rather I'm not angry. I'm not going to say anything, but to talk to Hashem to help me, but He's the one who put me in this situation. But like anything, like any type of these types of things, okay, but I'm telling you this right now, it's easy to say when you're in this situation, I don't want to talk to Hashem. So what am I going to do? Or I'm in this situation and everything's fell apart in my business. Of course, I could say now, it's easy to say, if anything goes wrong, I'll tell them that it went wrong. But when you're in this situation and you feel that pressure, how do I know that I'm going to do that? So I want to go back to the mashal. This is partial, like shtikla advice how to avoid these situations. Is when a person comes to you with an investment and all they talk about is guarantees. I've done this 100 times. This is for sure the way it's going to go. You gotta smell that something's off. if the person comes, like he believes it's a good deal, he thinks he's done this before, he has experience, and he ends off, it's just, you never know what's going to happen. Every deal is different. He's already opened the possibility that I might have to call you in 6 months that this deal was different. When the guy, when he first presented to you, never gave the possibility that this can go wrong, so there's no opening 6 months later to a professional finance, someone in finance will always tell you no guarantees, because there really isn't. The guy who's just selling it like there's nobody. First of all, there's something wrong with that, and not only that, but he's making it impossible 6 months later to come back and say things didn't work out. The market, I told you, the market was hot. It might turn at some point. I didn't think it was going to turn now, but the rental market went down. We weren't expecting it to happen now. There's disappointment. That's not what the plan was. But there was always an opening for it. And I think it's the same thing here with the Rabbi Shalom is that if you have this mindset that I'm only going to approach the Rabbi Shalom when things are good, there will be a time where I'm going through something difficult and I don't want to approach Hashem, and I will anyways. It's like to make that commitment in a marriage. Everybody would want to say is that if I ever have an issue with my wife, I won't go to sleep until I resolve it. But when the issue comes up, the last thing I want to do is talk about it. So what do I do? The commitment 6 months before is that I'm committed to working things out with my wife, that when it comes up, my commitment is there, and I know this thing will come up. If a guy thinks it's never going to come up, so then he's not ready for it. But things come up. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be disappointment. And just to know we're going to approach Hashem, there's going to be difficult times. There's going to have the attitude going into it. That there will be a time where I feel disappointment. I feel rejection from Hashem. I feel like it could have gone right, and once again Hashem made it not go right. I'm committed to the relationship I have with Hashem. I could say I'm angry. I could say I'm disappointed, but I'm going to talk about it. I believe that the Rabbeinu Shalom listens and wants to listen to my tefillah. And part of that has to do with like our tzura of how we look at Hashem. Is it just because I want things from Him? If I just want things from Him, so if I don't get it, I'm angry. But if it's no, I want to keep this relationship. I'm committed to the relationship. So if something comes up, I'm committed to work it through, and I'll talk it through. And that the Rabbeinu Shalom wants to work it for me. The Lashon Rabbani continues, V'hu ha'matzel man hatzares. Hashem is just not this someone who could help. He wants to help me. I have this, my kids know if I come home from shul and I have like a pet peeve from shul, my kids can guess what the topic is. It has to do with candy. I have two things that bother me like when it comes. So it just happened last week. 2 weeks ago, last week I was here, 2 weeks ago. I don't know why, like maybe it's something that happened to me when I was a little kid, like a trauma. To me, I can't understand, like you have a kid, he's 6 years old, he came to shul, he's so happy. In a good shul, he has a pile of candy, and somebody comes over to him, takes the candy, and puts it in his pocket, like, hey, look, I stole your candy. And the kid doesn't know what to do. I say, I'm just kidding, and he gives it back to him. I want to go to him Sunday morning, walk over to him, take the keys to his Range Rover, and say, hey, I took your keys to your Range Rover, I'm not giving it back to you. To the kid, he thinks because the kid's smiling because you're so awkward, he doesn't know how to respond to you. So he smiles. So he thinks, I made a kid smile. Like, what do you, to this kid, like that candy is a Range Rover. Like, what are you stealing his?
Saying goodness.
And I can get. And I've seen it. And my kids know. Like if I come home, like I can't believe it. They're like, oh, that's the guy. That's one thing with the candy. And then you have the classic candy man who thinks it's his responsibility to teach every 3 and 4 year old 3 things: please, thank you, and it's his responsibility to teach the kid which is his right hand and which is his left hand. That's not the hand we shake with. We shake with the right. Like, you had an opportunity to make this kid feel like davening is geschmack, and I got a tefillah. And all these kids, like, he walks out, like, he's so nervous that this guy's going to ask, like, you see, like, the kid, he's trying to remember from Shema, which is his right hand. And this guy, he came with a bag of family, I'm going to traumatize this kid, like can't shake it, like, it's an avera. People, like, we've lost generations because they shook with the left. That's like there's that candy. Like, what do you do? You went and you bought candies to give kids a good time and make them have just a great positive association with davening, and you twisted it. I wonder sometimes. I want to walk with a guy like, you know what? Don't give out candies. Stop, do Klal Yisrael a favor and stop with the. Right? The Rabbi Shalom is not this candy man. Right? The Rabbi Shalom is not, even when it feels like he's teasing us and things didn't go the way it is. The Rabbi Shalom wants to do for us. He wants to hear from us this hope that we talked about. So much of hope has to do with just a feeling that the Rabbi Shalom still wants to hear from me, talk to me. Doesn't mean that there aren't things I have to look out. There could be things that I did do things wrong. But hope means that no matter what, the Rabbi Shalom always wants to hear from me. And in the beauty of Yiddishkeit, the Rabbi Shalom tells you, I command you to believe that I always want to hear from you. You think it's on me. No, Hashem said, it's a mitzvah saseh to get yourself out of the mindset that the Hashem doesn't want to hear from me, and believe shenamit, and believe that Hashem wants to hear from me. And in that moment where I'm struggling, that I don't think the Rebbeinu Shalom wants to hear from me. The way I'm going through, I think he's angry at me. I think he doesn't like me. I think he doesn't care about me. And there's a mitzvah. No, work this through. The same way there's a munah to believe in Mashiach, to believe Hashem runs the world, is to believe that Hashem wants to hear from me, even though my situation stinks right now. And I know Hashem did it to me. It's like this is the guy who he completely believes Hashem runs the world, but now he's stuck. Okay, Hashem runs the world, and he just did everything to mess me up. I'm in the worst situation. Hashem made this happen to me, and I have a mitzvah to work this through and still go back to Him and believe Shehu Yisbarach v'Yisal Shemeya Tefillah, that He listens to our tefillah v'hu matzum anatzaris b'tefillah of Zaka v'hevenze. Like when the Ramban adds the words v'hevenze, he says it's not a partial simple up. You're going through a difficult time, daven to Hashem. He's saying, no, work this through. Like I said, part of this, the avoid, I think this is that sometimes when you're in the moment, it's not the right time to work. It's too hard. This is the type of thing that you have to prep yourself. That whenever I'm in that moment, I'm committed to work it through. I'm committed to not just walk away from it. And like I said, the conversation could be, Hashem, I'm disappointed. What's the message you're trying to give me? Maybe there's a different way you can give me the same message without me going through this hardship. Like, whatever the conversation, it doesn't matter. The point is, go back and believe that Shu Yisbarach Shemei Tefillah wants to hear our tefillah. So I think that's pshat in the Ramban. And in life, there's so many situations where the nekuda in the whole picture, when you look at it, there's a whole story here. The main nekuda was to face the issue. That's really the mistakes that were made and how I got into this. It's a side point. Is that when you have an opportunity to face the issue in a marriage, whatever happened, that what went wrong is that we weren't willing to face the issue when it came up. We let it sit, and then It's not what went wrong. It's not what happened later. It's the fact that we had an opportunity to work it through and we blew it. The Rebbeinu Shalom always wants to hear from us. And it's not simple. Like if it has to be a mitzvah saseh, elamai, it's not simple to have that emunah that the Rebbeinu Shalom always wants to hear from us. We should be zeich. I think it's a little of exactly what we're dealing now. I talk about being in the middle of galus and geula and that struggle of I feel forgotten, but no, I'm not forgotten. I have hope. That's exactly what this Nakuda is. To have hope when everything's amazing is easy. Okay, Hashem's the Shefa, everything's coming, big deal. That doesn't tell you anything about a marriage, about a partnership. Everything's going well. You can't tell if there's commitment. It's just good times. The real relationship that you can see, that if there's commitment here, if this is something that's going to last forever, is when something comes up and there's a choice. Should I just pull back, go into my cave, not say anything, just let the anger fester inside and create walls? Or do I know? I go back. I'm committed. I'm going to talk this through. I'm not going to let it hurt me. I'm not going to let it get in the way. We shall be zeicha to have this feeling. It's always easier if the Rebbeinu Shalom come to us and say, "I want to hear from you." It would be much easier. But if the Rebbeinu Shalom does tell us this, that's what this mitzvah saseh tells us. It tells us, even in the worst case, I want to hear from you. We should all be zeicha to always have this feeling, deep, this commitment that the Rebbeinu Shalom wants to hear from me, and because of that, I will always turn to Him, no matter how difficult the situation is.
Thank you, Rabbi.